Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the cabin. Normally we start out there and walk this way, but I have not been out there today. And I've got to go out there to pick up the very first item. But today's video is going to be something I usually don't do. I don't normally focus on new resellers at all in our content, but I figured, you know, since we have this audience of resellers out there, not just new resellers, but folks out there who are wondering, you know, that in this time, in the last few years, people have looked for second, third incomes, that kind of stuff. There's a car back there. Is this really a viable thing? And I thought we'd go over that today and look at a new reseller question that there was quite a bit of disagreement on the Facebook page and on Instagram. I want to ask you some questions. This should be a fun video, and I want you to contribute in the comments below. All right, it is starting to look a little bit better in here, but it won't for long because I'll be out picking. By the time you see this video, should be a Saturday video, I think. Should be out picking. This, I so hope I have this content. I had a malfunction of an SD card when I was down in South Carolina where I bought these. And I just didn't want to mess with it. I sent it away to see if we can recover it. So, but I bought these and some other stuff, including these sweet mushroom canisters right there at this sale, and a bunch of other stuff, but these sold today. And people always ask me, why do you keep some things out here and some out there? We keep the glass out there, we keep it up high because the cats don't get in that building, they get in this one, and they like to knock stuff over. But let's talk today about people coming into the reselling market. Obviously I don't do this video a lot because a lot of you out there don't like it. You don't want anybody to encourage new sellers, but there's some people anyways that might be interested in it. I thought we could give them a real perspective if it's a real money maker worth your time. You know, I used to track sales. You know, if I bought a whole bunch of stuff from one sale, I'd give that sale a nickname and I'd track it to see how much money we made. I should bring that back for this sale. I think this is the first thing we sold out of that sale. And we've spent $100 on all kinds of stuff. These sold for $22 plus shipping. I love mushrooms, and you get some mushroom salt and pepper shakers, you know, I couldn't resist. So first, let me ask you a question out there. How many of you have multiple streams of income that come from your labor? Meaning you have a job, you have a side hustle, maybe you have a side hustle. And I'm curious because I've never done all that Instacart and all the DoorDash and all that stuff. How many of y'all out there do one of those side gigs? And if you don't mind telling us what it is down below, I'd appreciate that. And if you found one that you particularly enjoy that fits you, tell us that too. I hear some dogs out here. I have a side hustle, y'all. Sort of, ish. Y'all are coming in. I gotta go after that other shit again, y'all, but I'm gonna give them a treat. Happy dogs, they got their treats. This might come as a surprise to some folks, but I have nothing but side hustles. I mean, whether it's social media or whether it's reselling on eBay, you know, static sale. I consider this a side hustle here. This is my live reselling. I consider that a side hustle to my side hustle to my side hustle. I actually spend more time doing social media than I do reselling. I've often said, and people tell me I'm full of it, but it's true. I often tell people that I spend about 20 hours a week reselling. I'd like to talk to these folks, but you're making a bunch of noise. Let me go get this other item. We'll keep this conversation going. Just speaking of the side hustle, we just did a sale the other day. We've done two now, actually. One we haven't actually done, but by the time you see this, we've done. Why do you always come in here and act crazy? People are waiting for information here. And we sold this off today. We got 580, almost 570 something for these boxes right here. Sold them all off in about an hour and a half in lots over on Shop Commons. And I calculated that out to the best of my ability because some of this was mixed in with other stuff that we listed on eBay and stuff. But I'm into this for about $220. So we got 580 out of it. But then I have to pay Jess. She's probably into it for 4 hours of labor, fees and everything. So I think, let's see, if I add it all up, I probably made a little over 220 bucks or so on that live sale. I put a total of 2 hours into it here and about an hour into sourcing it. So as far as side hustles go, you gonna stay in here and behave? Are you coming with me? All right, come with me. As far as side hustles go, that's pretty darn good money. I think for most folks, I think that compares very favorably to all those other side hustles out there. However, it doesn't happen overnight, and it does take some skill, and it takes quite a bit of hard work. In this case, I have somebody helping me with live sales, just does that. And so that's a huge load off. I wouldn't be able to do all the other side hustles if I didn't have that, and that makes it possible. But reselling in general, I think even a beginner can make $20 an hour very easily from the comfort of their home, but you got to do it wisely. What do you old timers out there think? Am I crazy? Brand new person within the first month, if they do it right, they sell stuff in their own home, do you think they can make $20 an hour doing it? And that's kind of tough to calculate because some of those early hours you put into it, the profits don't show up for quite a while. I made a mistake the other day and I showed you a cookie jar that I said sold for $37. It didn't. This is the one that sold for $37. The other one was listed for much more. I don't want to do this with one hand, but I will. And this is funny. Y'all think this is a dog or a bear? They say it's a bear. It's missing some paint. But this came as part of a bulk buyout, so we got 37, I think, and change plus shipping. By the way, that's McCoy. This one sold the other day, or this one is the one I said sold the other day, but it didn't. It was definitely that one. So as far as an hourly wage for the time you put in, it varies throughout the season. So this time of year, I'm putting more than 20 hours a week into reselling because it's the sourcing season. Just for instance, I was out on Saturday for 6 hours of sourcing, right? I was out on Friday for about an hour of sourcing. So there's 7 extra, you know, I'm probably closer to 30 hours this week in reselling time. But in the wintertime, y'all, there's definitely weeks where it's under 20 hours, well under 20 hours a week. And so I'm hoping to profit around $75,000 to $85,000 a year on just the static selling part of my business. I think that's easily going to happen this year. It may creep closer to 90 or 95,000. And for that hourly, I mean, that's good money. Way more than I could make doing, you know, whatever these other side hustles out there are. That's not to cast shade on any of them. I think they're very admirable. People put in 40, 50 hours a week, then go do an extra 8 or 10 or something like that. And I think those have their place. But I really honestly think for some people, for the diligent, for the disciplined, for the organized, this can be better. This can be better for you. And I'll tell you, this side hustle here, I make less money on this. The margins aren't as good. I put in far less hours though. And so it's an add-on, and it also makes the money I make on the eBay side of it and the static selling side of it more profitable because I have more time, because there's only so many hours in a day. Julep Be Strong Auction and Nail Therapy. And I get criticized, y'all, and they say, you can't make that much per hour if you calculate it out. You just can't do it. And I'm like, well, okay, don't do it then. $15.68 for that one, plus shipping. And they say you can't do it on items like this, but this is $1 buy into $15.68. You know, you take the fees off and stuff, you're making like $11 profit on that item right there, maybe a tick more depending on what the shipping was. And it's like a 5-minute item max. You know, calculate that stuff out, and the hourly wage is definitely there, but it won't come overnight if you don't do it right. It's also pretty low risk, but I have seen people enter this into this, and it is a boondoggle, and they end up losing money because they find that they're not the right person to do it. They don't have any space at all. But I also see people who can do this out of one tiny little room. I know people, I've said this before, who do it out of a guest bathroom and they're successful. I just think that it is truly one of the best side hustles. And I know I don't say that often because people who watch this channel don't like me saying it because, well, they don't want the competition because they know it can be good. It can be bad too at times, and it can be a roller coaster where if you do, you know, Uber or something, it's like, you know, you can go out and make money whenever you want. And there's a lot of resellers who do those side gigs because you can go out. It's just the dollar amount per the time you put in, to me, isn't as good of option. Can you think of any other side hustles out there that are better than this side hustle for those who are diligent and disciplined and start to gain knowledge over time? I can't think of one. This sale in the middle of summer is a little bit surprising. I've bought 2 of these within a 6-month time frame. One of them sold really quickly. It's excelled. It's a sweet leather jacket, made in the USA. Really awesome. I bought one for $5, sold it for $130. This one I bought for $20 and sold it for just under $100. So it's not quite as good as that one, but hey, I'll take it. You know, how many people out there need one of these? I had 2 of them. This thing is pretty cool. Size 46. Might have had to do with the size difference. Plus this one did have a few issues, but I think that gives it a little character. And so I'll still take 20 into $100 at 96 something or something like that plus shipping. You know, there's where you get the money, right? Even with all the fees and all the stuff that goes with it. And by the way, for those of you yelling at me right now, for the new people who are watching, it's not just, hey, picking stuff up that just sold. There's a lot of work that goes into this. If you watch this channel often, I try to show all parts of that. I don't really show the shipping anymore. Occasionally I'll do a little bit, but it is not easy. I just went and grabbed this jacket out of the jacket closet. It's the first jacket I've sold in probably a week and a half. And there are probably 30 jackets hanging in there. It's not printing money. It's patience, it's diligence, it's hard work. But the returns are there for those who want to try it. Now, there are some things, of course, if you watch me, like I have a good amount of viewer sales. I usually say it's right around 20%. Some days it's far less than that. Today it happens to be more than that because one person bought a ton of stuff. You'll see it at the end of the video. And we had another one right here that I need to thank Jody. She bought 2 things. The profit per hour really is based on your ROI, your average sales price, but it has to do specifically with each item. And so if you're out there and you're looking up items and you're new and you're saying, oh, this thing, I can get it for 20 and I can sell it for 40 and it's going to take you 20 minutes to package the thing up after you pay the fee, it's a bad buy. And since we have so many good resellers out there, I thought we could have the new folks who are thinking about trying it or maybe trying it, give them the reality for you guys who have been doing it for a while in the comments below. I don't want people to discourage anybody. I don't like gatekeeping and any of that. Obviously, we're in this game. We want it to grow for us. Having 50% more sellers is going to hurt that. But at the same time, I like to give a realistic perspective to those who think about doing this because so many people kind of brought me along over the years and taught me things too. These both sold on 20% off. So that means they've been in the store for 250 days, y'all. Here's one of them. Tupperware. I got problems. But look, how good have I been if you've been watching this channel for a while? I just limited it to 1 Tupperware bin. If that thing's full, I don't buy any. And it's been pretty good for me. I buy far less than I used to, but I still like to buy them every once in a while. In giant buyouts especially, so I'm into stuff for pennies. This one sold, I think they both sold for the exact same amount, $11.96 plus shipping. That was 20% off. Not really worth it unless you're buying it for literally pennies. Whoops. And then this one right here sold. I would not have bought this one. This one was left by Lady Arbitrage, I think. She picked it up and she didn't have room to take stuff home, so she left me a bunch of stuff. And this was quite a while ago, over a year ago, y'all. So storing that thing in a bin back there for over a year to make $11.96, that's the reality of this at times. Now, a lot of people don't use my model, and you're probably wise to follow their model at the beginning if you're just starting out. Actually, you know, the old cliche, just sell what you have first, learn it, figure out if you like it or not, the pricing, you got to figure out the shipping and all that stuff. And a lot of people jump in and just kind of, you know, trial by fire. I actually like that. You're going to make mistakes, but if you're going to do that, make mistakes on small items. Don't make mistakes on big ones, because if you make shipping mistakes on big ones, you're going to end up eating some cost. And if you need money and a second job or a second income, that's not where you want to start out. So start with that easy stuff and listen to people, watch people, find a mentor. You know, connect yourself to these communities and ask questions. Since we're talking about asking questions, I saw this one. This is for somebody who's already jumped in, right? Left Coast Pickers asked this question the other day. I have a question for any of you resellers. So that's you out there. I decided to start, I think we're gonna have different opinions on this. I almost want to pick a couple items and come back to it and give you mine so you have a chance to write yours down there. And you'll find that a lot of people disagree with all kinds of stuff, and that's perfectly fine. I have a question for any of you resellers. I decided to start reselling part-time. I work a full-time job and just started listing at least 1 item a day after work. I think that's a good way to start, just really slowly, because I don't know what the numbers are, but I would bet you 75% of the people who think they're going to get into this eventually stop. I could be wrong, but I think I'm probably right. That's just my guess, because it is harder than people think. You know, they watch videos like this and like, oh, this guy says he makes $75 an hour selling stuff out of a shed in his backyard. Okay, I've been doing it for 20 some years, and let me tell you, there's people out there been doing it for 5 that make far more than I do. And there's been people who've been doing it for 20, 28, 30 years since 1998 who make far less than me. There's all kinds of scales out there. Uh-oh, I lost my question here. These dibbed it alerts took it off. I said they listed a Budweiser tap for $15 yesterday and have an offer for $10 this morning. Should I take the offer to get my first sale rolling or just let the item keep going? I think I should take the offer. Thanks for the help. All right, I'm not going to answer that. I want you to tell me what your answer is in the comments below. Well, I am going to answer it. I'm just not going to answer it until I pull a couple more items because I want to get your opinions before I color your opinion. This is a cool one. See if I get this right. I'm going to go top drawer. Yes. Got a lot of the metal stuff up there. This one I actually bought on Dibbit. And I think I paid, oh man, did I pay maybe just a tick over 20? And it was with a bunch of stuff. And this is a sweet lock. I wouldn't normally take it out, but it's so cool. How cool is this lock, y'all? And the key with it is it had the key. And you don't often see that on these locks. And this one right here, I think, like I said, I'm probably into it if you take the shipping cost and average it together. I'm probably into it for close to $24. Or maybe 25, but you know, close enough. And we got a decent amount. This is not something I would want to do at a yard sale, although I might, because this is a cool item. $61.70 plus shipping. So not exactly, you know, $1 into 50, but still, that's pretty good. Leaves you a pretty good margin. Let me do the math. All right, I'm gonna guess it's close to a $30 profit, give or take a little on either side. So it's not exactly the ROI you want to have as a reseller, but definitely good enough, especially because I didn't have to leave my house and I sourced it online. So that was really cool. I think there can be, sometimes it takes a while to see the return on your money if you're just starting out. That's why people say sell the stuff around you, sell your own stuff, sell the stuff in your house. I think that's probably good advice. Because if you're going out and have expenditures, you know, I'll go out sometimes and I'll spend $500 at one yard sale or a buyout or something. And I know I'm going to make $1,500 profit on that after all expenses are paid. But it's going to take, it might take 2 weeks, 3 months to get my initial investment back. And then you make profit on it for quite a while, up to a year, 2 years sometimes. Tell me your oldest listing. I've done this before. Tell me your oldest listing. I did mine the other day. It was over 1,400 days it had been in my store. And in reality, there's some items like this one. This one's been in my store forever. It doesn't show that it's 1,400 days. It's because I've relisted it twice. And so it keeps resetting. It was a bad buy. And I don't usually cut bait with things. But your initial investment into this, and you don't have to invest into all kinds of stuff, you know, tape and stuff like that, of course. My go-to tape, code Commonwealth, 5% off. You know, you don't have to get a thermal printer. You don't have to do all those things. So there's very little initial cost if you do it right. But it's not like in the first month you're going to turn a big profit if you're going out there buying every single week. You might be losing money for a few months before you start gaining. I think that's part of it that keeps people out. They're like, oh, I need money. Let's do this. Okay. Well, you're not going to see that quick buck. However, if you're diligent about it, if you're smart about it, very, very possible. Just in 10 hours a week, you can make 10 grand a year doing this. Am I crazy? Am I off base out there? If that's the kind of money you want and you have that kind of time to allocate, I think it's very possible. Let's do a little experiment. Out of you all out there who are watching this, who have started, let's say, in the last 5 years, in that first year, tell us how much time you estimate, I know it's hard, estimate you put into it a week, and how much profit at the end of your first year did you make, to give people a real perspective on it. And they'll be wildly different things, but it'll give people a little look. Also, how you're sourcing, if you're going to thrift stores, paying, you know, thrift store prices versus the bins versus the garage sales and stuff makes a difference. Yeah, I bought a bunch of Scentsy stuff, and Scentsy is hit and miss, y'all, definitely. But it was at the end of the day, and they were such great deals, and they were really, really willing to bargain. And I don't even remember what I paid, to be honest. It was so good. I was like, holy moly, I can't remember. Like, I bought all of the Scentsy stuff for like 30, 40 bucks or something crazy. And some of them aren't great. Like, this one's not amazing. I had one in there I think we listed for 40, and I thought, I'm gonna make most of all my money back on that one. It's a QWERTY typewriter, and this one sold for 17 plus shipping. Back to a previous point, I think a lot of other people's who listen to this, their model is probably better. There's a lot of sellers out there, at least for newbies, who, let's just say they won't buy in bulk for, like, even this. It's like, why wouldn't you just buy the one item that's worth 40 for $5 as opposed to a lot of the other ones that might be slow sell-through rate and whatever. For me, it's an easy answer, especially because I do a little bit of live selling as well, which is where we sold those, the scents, the actual, what do they call them, melts or whatever. And that made a lot of sense to do it that way. But for a lot of folks, and I know some of these folks, they're not going to pick up an item unless they're 10 times their money and the item is over $50. And that might be the best way to start for some people, to get the cash going. And we'll get to this question. I forgot I needed to answer it. To get the cash rolling in a little bit. I do think, and I've said this before, but having a separate bank account is key. Keeping track of your numbers is key. I wouldn't get, my Reseller Genie in your first, month or so. But as soon as you know you're dedicated, get something to help you, unless you're very astute with it and you're very good with it, then don't get anything. Code Commonwealth, myresellergenie.com. But I do think for everybody, immediately allocate a percentage of the money that's coming in for additional resources, so to buy more stuff. Because eventually you'll run out of the stuff that's around you. And I think that is important. I think everybody should do that on day one. I would have 2 separate bank accounts. The operating budget, everything goes in and out. You keep the accounting, and then a percentage of that always goes into a sourcing account. And hopefully that percentage is higher than what you're sourcing. And so that builds up over time, gives you opportunity to make bigger purchases. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is they start to use all of the money that's coming in. Obviously they started for a reason. They need money, right? And they start to use it all for those needs, to pay bills, to do whatever, to get ahead, to go on vacation. But you got to remember, you've got to pay taxes. Although if you're in your early stages, to be honest with you, you might not pay any taxes at the end of the year if you do things right. You're keeping your mileage, you're doing everything right. You definitely could get away with not paying any of the federal income tax on that, if you do it right, because you're showing, I don't know if I want to get into this, but I think most of you know what I mean. Now, if you start making, $150,000 a year gross, you're going to be paying some taxes, unless... I don't know unless what. Maybe there's some folks out there that don't, but I sure do. Starbucks mugs. I usually avoid Starbucks mugs, but this was a pair. They were 50 cents a piece. Honestly, if it was one like this, I might not have bought it, even at 50 cents, because they're tough. But that color was awesome. The condition is awesome. I gotta let this dog in. And I thought they'd do well as a pair, much more likely to sell. The sell-through rate was not good on this. And I was the only one who had this, and it sold quickly. Admittedly, it sold to a viewer, so we have had some viewer sales. I think we're over 20% today. And that's something else, watching channels like this that get sales. You got to take that into account too. I better let this dog in. Y'all, I've heard people want to see the new cat. I'm going to show you the new cat. This is not the new cat. This is the 1.5-year-old dog, something like that. Now I hear his brother out there. Sorry for all the interruptions. Your channel is a constant in our house. Well, thank you. We've learned so much from you. I saw the adorable coffee cups in your show tonight. Did you? Oh, they were sitting over there, so you saw it on the Flipper channel. I'm like, this video hadn't come out. I just bought these. We're about, depending on what time of year, the Commonwealth Picker videos. By the way, if you haven't subbed over there, take a minute and go sub to our Commonwealth Picker channel. That's when we're outsourcing. This one, of course, is when we're selling in the shed. I don't know why I said that. You're watching it. But thank you to Heather. Fancy this, y'all. I like that name. They sold for $19.95 plus shipping. All right, I have to go out to the other shed anyway, so I'll let... Come on. That's Wallen. That's Boots. I gotta shut the door because I don't want Boots in there. Gotta go out to the other shed. I sold an ashtray, y'all, and I think it's out here. We keep that glass out here, so let me go look. All right, it is back here. I thought it wasn't for a second, but I see it hiding behind these guys right here. This one right, I can't believe that hadn't sold yet. Maybe I overpriced it. I've had it for about 10 months, something like that, listed. How cool is this? It reminds me of Blanco, although I don't think it is. It is heavy as all get out, kind of an amoeba shape ashtray. Kind of neat. And this one, there are comps out there, but I don't have a brand name or anything. Sold for $29 plus shipping. And I saw a comment the other day on one of my videos like, I'm gonna get into reselling and I've been buying merchandise for the last year and whatever. Ooh, I think that is a big mistake, especially if you're doing well, Not if you're, especially if you're doing static selling. The moment you think you're going to get into it, start selling before you buy, if that makes sense. If you're doing live selling, I would not suggest new people start with live selling. Not saying it can't be done, but the margins aren't as good, and unless you have some strange, great connection with some super cheap merchandise that's replenishable, I would definitely not start there. I don't even suggest resellers who are in the game resell. Maybe 5% of them have the setups to make it worth your time over there. I would say sourcing over there is not bad. All right, so I'm going to answer that question. And the way I would have answered it was in the minority of most of the people who answered the question. I do think that most of those opinions are colored by the fact that the experienced resellers out there don't want people in here undercutting the market. And that's why I think most people answer it that way. However, if it is your very first sale, I think I would take it. Or I would maybe counter offer like 12 bucks, something like that. I think I would take it because it's the first sale. Because first time sellers have a huge disadvantage. And I wouldn't take it if it's like, hey, if you pay me off eBay, you get all that stuff as a new seller. And you need to avoid all that. Do it straight, right down the middle. But while I would not necessarily do it if I was an experienced reseller, I think right off the bat, I might take it. I could see all three. I don't think there's a wrong answer. You could not do it. You could say, hey, you just listed this thing yesterday. Why would you take $10? I could see that argument. You could make the argument like I just said, split it in half. Say, yeah, I'll take 12. You know, I'll do that on this one. I want to get the ball rolling. I want to get a feedback. I want to do whatever. I want to get experience with the shipping process. I want to, whatever the reason. I think that would be an okay thing. I wouldn't fight with somebody over that. I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't say, man, you're ruining the market and taking less. Plus, most new resellers use calculated shipping. You probably have a little padding in there with the shipping costs as well. So you're going to do okay on it, assuming you paid $1 or $2 or nothing for the item. This one, there's no message with it, but I know it's a viewer sale here. And it has not been here long. I'm glad I picked this up. I just picked it up because it was cool. A little Metallica one. And it was cheap. I didn't know what we could get for it, but it sold for decent money. It did go to a viewer. And people tell me all the time when they say, you get more than 20% of your sales to viewers, because some people don't leave messages. I know, I get it, but in reality, the ones who leave messages are maybe around 12, 13% of what I calculated is 20. And then the other parts are repeat buyers or names I recognize. And then I assume there's 4 or 5% of the sales that go to people that are viewers, but they don't leave a message on the purchase or something. So I just say 20. I don't know. So what? It doesn't really matter when it comes down to whether people should be doing this or not. I do have a huge advantage, and I'm not ignoring that fact. So thank you all. This went to Dusty Box Treasures. It was an awesome dude, a reseller over there on dibdit.com. You should go give him a follow. And this Metallica poster, frame, picture, I don't know what you want to call it, sold for $27. Is that right? $27.95 plus shipping. And look at that box back there. It's perfect. Love it when you get the right box for something. I'm going to ship that easily in there. You know, I used to be kind of not ashamed of those sales, but, and I still say it from time to time, but I'm proud of the sales. I'm proud of the viewer sales. And I've started to incorporate that into my business. You may not have that advantage in your business, but you will get repeat customers, and especially if you're niched down, you will get those people who come back to buy and buy multiples. Even if you don't, you want to find ways to get people to follow your store. In my case, I offer a coupon, and Dusty Box used it right there. If you put code Commonwealth on any item, and a lot of people buy this without using it, so if you do want to ever buy anything from me, put code Commonwealth in, and you'll get 5% off your eBay order. So. Anyway, Dusty Box James, we appreciate you. Got a Dooney & Burke wallet right here, a little pebbled red, very good condition. It has one little marking on it, and this one, Dooney's does well. I'll tell you what, I went years without buying much glass at all, other than ashtrays, and I went years without buying many purses at all, and that was a huge mistake for me because I'm an everything seller, and I have done so good on purses the last couple of years. And these is a wallet, obviously. I think it sold for $29. Man, I gotta get these numbers in my head. Yeah, $28.95 for that wallet right there, plus shipping. We have a ton of sales to go here. I have $1,440 headed out of here today, I think, if I ship it all. That's 2 days and a few hours of sales. So we've done really good lately. And of course, that's not all profit. I usually say it's around 60% of that number is the profit. So you can calculate that out and figure out what I'm talking about here. It's a little Fleet Enema This one went to another Dibbed It seller, Chris the Goose. How you doing, bud? Appreciate you. You can go follow him over there as well. Sells on different marketplaces, and he got an Animan. You got a deal on it too, Chris. Chris only gets deals on stuff. He's cheap. Anyway, good reseller as well. So thank you for that purchase, and I hope he gets things moving for you. And a word of warning for all you wannabe resellers out there. It is invasive. It is hard. There are ups and downs. There's big rewards, but it is not easy. And don't think that it ever is. If you do going in, you will definitely fail. I don't know how long I've had this. 20% off. It sold $13.96 plus shipping. It's been hanging up for quite a while. And it's not a huge profit, but you gotta look at the big picture over time and make sure you calculate all your decisions by that. Another little side note here for starting out, a lot of times, and people will tell you down below in the comments, families sometimes can resent it because when you're away working, it's a little bit different, right? It's not invasive in your family life, and you're not listing stuff when you should be spending time with family. There's all kinds of things. And you're putting in hard work to do something what you think is right for you, for your family, pay off debt, do whatever. And there are a lot of family members who don't like it. Matter of fact, hate it. And you got to take that into consideration too. Is your family on board with it? This one I almost left behind at a sale. I saw it and immediately started talking to a lady who recognized me from my Facebook page. And by the time I was done with the conversation, I forgot. And so I got to the car, and right before I got in, my dad was sitting in the car. I was like, oh, I totally forgot. I gotta go back and get it. It's Tinky Winky. And I thought it would be like maybe a $30 plush. And it's big. Some people would not pick it up, but these things scrunch down pretty good. You can get them in a box. And this one, you find the big plush. Sometimes the big ones go for good money if you're willing to ship them. This one's got a little neck issue here, but this one sold for $50, y'all. Plus shipping. So in short, I do think I've got so many more to pick. I'll have to sum up this conversation here. I think that this is not only a legitimate side hustle, it's one of the better ones out there. There's all kinds of other stuff that include, you know, I know people that cut grass. I know people that pressure wash on the side. I know people that clean boats on the side. There's all kinds of different jobs out there for extra income. I encourage people to find one that fits them. And this does not fit a ton of people. Because of some of the things. You have to have some space. There's all kinds of issues that go on with it. But if you can do it and you love it and do it right, it's one of the most beneficial and profitable in my opinion. You know, if you're out there trying to make an extra 100 grand a year and you want to do it in a year, it's probably not for you. I mean, it could be, I suppose. This one I pulled out earlier when I got the wallet. This is a Waterfly fanny pack. Just an extra pickup at a sale. I'd already bought a bunch of stuff and I saw it there and I'm like, yeah, let's just throw it in. And so it's probably $1 for the Waterfly fanny pack. Didn't sell for a ton, but hey, $1 into $16. Plus shipping, super easy. It was already clean, easy, and ready to ship. Plus I love fanny packs and I love hats too, which is something that's sold. Y'all, I got a gift from somebody. If you've sent me something, I will get to it. Today probably won't be the day because there's so much more I got to pick. But I wanted, oh, and I do have to remind you about a awesome offer for you resellers out there. This is a San Jose Sharks hat. And this one is interesting. If you ever see this name out there, I did not know this till not too long. See the Drew Pearson right there? A lot of Drew Pearson hats can go for decent money. This is a cool Sharks hat. And it had a ton of action on it. I'm like, when is this going to sell? And it sold to a viewer. And they left a message. So I'm glad you grabbed it because it was going to go here eventually. $33.20 plus shipping. Greetings. I sent an offer out because there's so many. Hey, speaking of, I had 77. I went to bed last night. Before I went to bed, I sent out offers on everything I could send out offers on. I usually won't do more than 5% unless the item is old. I know that's really, really low, but it works good enough for me. If the item's been around for a while, I might do 10%. If it's been around a long time, it's already on 25%, so the 5% works, or 30%. But this one went to Marianne. Angels Vintage Treasures. Greetings from Washington State. I saw a box of hats you bought on the picker video. That was a great box, by the way. We paid $60 for all of that. I think that's where I got this one. I had to have it. It'll be the best present for my son's birthday next week. Love your videos and watch them all. Been a reseller on eBay for a long time, like you. 1998 is when I opened my account. Not me, I was 2001. Marianne from Angels Vintage Treasures. Keep up the great work. Actually, I opened an account in 2000. Keep up the great work. Love to the family, especially Heather. That's Blue Ridge Mama. Give the pooches and kitties pets for me. Please don't put an invoice in the box as it's a gift. Absolutely, Marianne. Thank you for the purchase. Hope you enjoy it. All right, next one you have not seen yet, by the way. I had the wrong jacket. So I had to get the right one. So I got to go put this one up. This right here, you have not seen this sale yet. Other than the short clip I put on Facebook to promo the comic book sale that we did the other day. I paid $200 and I got a bunch of comic books that I know nothing about. Like 4 boxes full like that. Sold them all off today. I got a ton of cards. I got loose cards, and then I got boxes of cards. The boxes of cards I estimate to be worth about $350. Although I'll sell quite a bit of them over on dibdiccards.com. But I've already listed some of them. This was in there and it was not high end. I didn't think it would sell live on a card thing, but this is a set, not sealed. Put it out there at a good price because most of the ones that are out there for like 15 were sealed. This is not sealed, but it is complete. So I'm like, yeah, I'll list it $11.99 plus shipping. So I have already made, I think we sold the comics for like $210, and this for $11. So take out all the fees. eBay fees are high. There's very few fees for me selling on my own site over there. So we're basically broken even at this point, and have about 300 plus in cards, sealed card boxes left. So it wasn't a terrible deal. Not the best deal I've ever made, but definitely good enough. So I went and looked at that live sale. We were at $238, so almost $240 in the comic book. So it's a little bit better than I thought. We'll profit over $300 on this deal. Could have profited more, but I won't put the time because I have more profitable items that I want to get to, and I don't know comic books, and I don't love comic books, so I'm glad I could pass on some deals to some folks. I probably, parting those out, could have made $1,000, but it would have taken a week and a half to list them. Pink Floyd, bought this for $1 at a sale, sold for $10 plus shipping, and one other item with it. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to thank Melissa. There's no message on anything, but I'm assuming this is a viewer sale because they bought a Pink Floyd CD and they got a shirt as well. So a Guide Series shirt right there. Size large, little fishing, hiking, hunting, whatever you want to call it. Shirt $16.95 plus shipping. I have no idea where I got this one from, which makes me think it's probably from Death Pile Pickers, a lot that we bought out from them. Anderson installation kit for a storm and screen door. $15 plus shipping. I got 2 flies in here. They're driving me nuts. Sold 2 bats, and they sold to the same person, but they're not a viewer. They sold 5 hours separate, and they're buying them for themselves. They sent me a message when I combine shipping. We can do that on bats for sure. Now I just got to find the right bats. I think this one is one of the bats. Yeah, I think that's right. And the grip is terrible on it. One of them sold, they both basically average out to about $25 a piece. So they're not huge winners, but you know, when you can get something for $1 or $2 and turn it into 50 in this case, it's definitely worth it. To ship these out, you don't want to ship them, well, this is pretty common knowledge here. You don't want to ship them like that, you want to turn them like this. You can fit them in a 4x4x4 box, believe it or not. It's a little tight, but that's probably how we'll do it. So right around $51 total for those 2 plus shipping. Actually, it's $52 plus shipping. This sale is the perfect one. You might remember this sale. Yeah, it's aired on Commonwealth Picker. I bought a ton of ties. It was at an estate sale. They had like $1 a piece on them or something. And it was the last day of it. I'm like, hey, there's a few ties on here I'd like. And I would really like to buy them all if you want to put a price on all of them. And she said, how about $30? I'm like, okay. I don't know how many there were. There's probably 100 or so. Later, I went back and found like 30 more. And then before I left, somebody else brought more out or showed me them or something. I can't remember. There's like 150 ties in there. A lot of them were good. Silk, Italian, whatever. And I just picked out a few to sell to recoup my money. I think 5. One of them I picked out, Lily Pulitzer, turned out to be really good. That's one I'm going to show you right now. And we sold the rest off in lots over on Shop Commons and made hundreds over there because they were good ties, and only listed a few over here. And as you can see, some of these in here. This one, I think that's the Lily Pulitzer, really good condition too. That one sold for $35.96. So one tie puts you in the profit. We've sold a couple more over here as well from that lot. And I have a few more listed. So we're going to make a couple $100. No, probably more than that. Because one of those tie lots sold for $80. We're going to make probably $300 on that $30 purchase. But I eliminated the hard work in the research. I just pulled the ones I knew would be good. And I didn't even pull many because I knew there'd be plenty of money in the others. So did not put more than an hour total labor into all of those ties for around $300 profit. So that's pretty good. Sold a Yankee hat. It's a $59.50 Yankee hat. It's pretty plain Jane, except an American flag on it. This kind of stuff normally goes for around 20-ish. This one, however, it didn't. It's a cool base. It is $59.50. I'm surprised it didn't go for a little bit more, but it is so plain Jane. There's nothing amazing about it. $14.20 for this one, plus shipping. By the way, even on this show, you know, I just spent about 30-40 seconds digging for that. It looked like I found it in half a second. So your systems make a big difference. And if you are new to this and you want to start, get your systems down right to save you time in the long run. Because if you don't, you won't be making the money you think you can make. It's a lot of eccentricities. Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. To this. And there's a lot of folks out there been doing this a long time that make it look easy, but it is not. I think I just realized I pulled something out that was wrong earlier. This was the item that sold. I knew it was Pier 1, and I said something about this, and that's... Is that right? Let me double check this. Yeah, that's the right one right there. There's another little thing. Boy, you can lose yourself some money by shipping the wrong item to somebody. Especially if it's a high-priced item. I better put this in the right drawer. I'm trying to find something, and I just... Easy to make mistakes. I'm not sure if I can find this. It's been like a year since I sold one of these things. I thought it was a smart idea, but it turned out to be dumb. I don't know if I can find the item. Yep, there they are, way back there. It's been a long time. It's a lanyard from Liberty University. Came across a boatload of them, and I'm like, they only go for a few bucks, but there's so many. One listing, I can make some money over time at $4.99 plus shipping. I've sold a few, but I still got a bunch left. I suppose it's worth it if you calculate it out over time and untangle this mess. It's becoming not worth it by the second. There, I got it. So while you might say you only made $3 on that or something, which is true, but I'm going to make it 20 times over. I think we've sold a bunch over the years. There's still probably 10 left. These flies are driving me nuts in here. There was one, and there was two, then there was three. I just got one of them out. I'm leaving the door open because it's a little muggy in here. It's muggy outside too, though. Now, there was a time where I stopped buying garments, and now I find that some of them are selling. And this one wasn't great, but I picked one up the other day. It sells for $50. And people are willing to get rid of them cheap. Like, I think I paid $1 at a sale for this one, and it sold for $22 plus shipping. It's a little DVD set, Boy Meets World. I think 3 seasons, and it was 20% off. Sold for $11.96. I'm more of the, what's her name, Allie Mills, the girl from Karate Kid, and Mia Sarah, the one from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I don't remember the one's name from, well, she was in a bunch, but Gremlins. That was my era of crushes when I was a kid, I think. And I forgot Phoebe Cates. Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Gremlins, although I was a little young for Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Since we brought up the topic, who were your crushes out there? Ladies and guys out there, who were your crushes in that appropriate age when you were way too young to date those people? But tell me in the comments. I also strangely like the girl from Alf. Anyway, this sold as well. That's why I was so confused. They both sold. So I'll get that one back out. And I owe this is the last viewer sale of the day, a big thank you to Marcia, who has been so generous. Not just, I think you've done multiple times, Marcia. There's a couple Marcias out here in the audience. So this is Marcia from Fort Payne, Alabama. Big thank you to you for your purchases. I appreciate you. Raggedy Ann, $15.19. What the heck is going on? Plus shipping. There's my wife. You all right? Y'all, we have lots of bees around here. Lots of wasps, hornets. My wife was going to grill and reached under, turned it on, and got stung. So she's having a rough day. All right, Reagan is not here today, so Turner got the job of thanking people. This is the new kitty. Do we have a name for this cat yet? Y'all should name him. Puffles? Puffles. No way. Yes. No way they're going to let you name that cat Puffles. They said that we can call him Puffles. Let me see his eyes. Well, he don't want it. What are you doing? What? Oh my goodness. Look at that. Okay, we'll just leave him there. Who bought this sticker? AD Resales. AD Resales. Thank you, Turner. I appreciate it. Could you remember Reagan's line? Don't forget to get your sticker at commonwealthpicker.com. Yeah, we have a beekeeper around here. She got stung by a wasp. But we got a beekeeper around here. All right, we got all the animals in here today. By the way, we do have that back, but it is not the same one. I don't know where it went. The great mystery of our Granny Square. I'll tell you what, if you're a new reseller, one of the most often overpriced items at a garage sale, people perceive the value to be much more than it is longer burger baskets. I mean, it's not uncommon to see these things priced at like $10, $20 a piece, and you can rarely get that. And sometimes you find okay ones and they're cheap enough. This is a little set right here, sold for $20 plus shipping, but it's rare if you see these sitting there that you could get them cheap enough to make it worth your while. But these were, I'll take it. I'm looking for a Radio Shack cassette player. Should be in here. All right, that took a minute. $19.95 plus shipping. Not something I would seek out to buy, only if it's the right price. This happened to be a buyout. It's a Radio Shack one. It's not too bad, I guess. What are you doing? Next one I paid up for. These go pretty good, but I bought them because it was from a lady that was super nice to me. She'd given me stuff in the past, and I just wanted to get them because they're cool. And I knew I could make money. I think I paid like $20-25 for these. They're big, giant Lady and the Tramp plush. They're huge. Look at that. Really cool. Got that one. And got this one. And it sold for $64 plus shipping. So I paid up. So the profit's not amazing, but it is still decent. And I will take it. Lady and Tramp, one of my favorites. Not my favorite, but one of. All right, my next one is out here in the shed. This one might even be my last one. I'll have to go look. Boy, look at that. Beautiful out here now. I saw a post from somebody the other day that had finally moved. They had bought so much before they started selling. They finally moved out of a storage unit and got everything into their apartment. So it's definitely something you got to pay attention to and what your own habits are. Some people are just buyers, and it can really get overwhelming really quick. All right, I'm gonna get the ladder in a second, but I'm gonna show you these. Put the camera up here. They're all like medicine bottles, and it's like aqua. Now I'm wondering if that's not even the right. Is that the one that sold? I think I've screwed up the cookie jar twice now. I think that one sold. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. But that lot right there is pretty good. That lot sold for $60, $59.95 plus shipping. All right, it sure enough was the wrong one. So I've gone through one, that's worth a bunch, I think. Two, that one's the right one. It's the Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm gonna go out and grab it in a minute, but I'm gonna finish the show in here with a reminder. DibDidSports.com, not the head cover, I'm selling that separate. But this Futura Scotty Cameron putter is gonna be sold for $1 free shipping. Go make your offer, and we will announce the winner on Tuesday over there on DibDidSports.com. Go check it out over there, and there's a link down below, I think, to Dibdid Sports. You can go over there, but literally, somebody's going to win that for $1. We don't run scams. We don't do anything. We want people to move over to these platforms, of course. But $1 free shipping, Scotty Cameron putter. It's worth somewhere between $100 and $200. So that's going to be a cool little giveaway for somebody, or not giveaway, somebody's going to buy it. All right, I obviously have a lot of shipping to do today, so that's it. I don't put that shipping on there, but I'm going to be in here for a good hour. There's not too much to, that's easy. The cookie jar is going to take a little while. That's not too bad. It's maybe an hour's worth of shipping in here. And I've done it for a long time. I got pretty quick at it. And some people are meticulous, take a little bit longer, but I do a pretty good job. Good enough job anyways. Thank you to everybody. You guys are awesome to us. I appreciate you. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to go subscribe to Commonwealth Picker if you don't mind. We appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you next time.